Hi, it's me, your girlfriend, slash boyfriend, slash day friend, favorite content creator. And, you know, a lot of the times people will talk about how mainstream media sucks and how they only get their information from independent sources, right? Or like for the gaming side of things, which is what we're about here, uh, people will talk about how they hate the gaming sites. Like they don't like IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, Polygon, all the big boys, right? They hate them. They think they suck. They rely only on YouTubers. And so I had a thought, let's burn it all to the ground. Those sites don't exist anymore. What are we left with? Legitimately, what are we left with? A lot of YouTubers, gaming YouTubers, do not break the news. They don't give you hands-on experiences. Not really. They don't bring things to your attention. Things already brought to your attention, and then they go and talk about it. I'm guilty of this. I've never broken any news. There are also some content creators who do get invited out, right, by these companies, but even then, that's a small percentage. Like, most people do not watch content creators to get their gaming news. They don't. You're either on Twitter, you're online, or something, and the journalist posted an article that was on a website, and that got much attraction, or put on Reddit, and all that stuff too, right? But without all of that, what happens to the system? Now, there are some independent news sites out there, gaming sites like Aftermath, right? There's even like Niche Gamer. There's Tech Raptor. There's these like smaller but independent game sites that do what they do. They've been doing it for quite a while. I'm familiar with most of them. But if we just have those ones, not a lot of coverage is going to happen for big games, right? Because again, the big publishers go to those big sites so you guys know about them coming up. And they have enough, if you want to say clout, resources, staff, what have you, to cover a multitude of games. So even if it's not necessarily a big game on your radar, right? They can introduce you to like a smaller game, like an Animal Well type, or like 1,000 Resist, right? But if we get rid of that, we don't have that. You don't have that landing page to go to. You don't have that space to find those things in one area. It's all over the internet. Another thing, though, is what are we left with in terms of reporting, in terms of accuracy? And I mentioned that because our favorite person, Grumps, Mark Kern, aka Mr. I'm definitely working on my game and not scamming people by spending most of my time on Twitter being mad about really dumb stuff. He did something really, really dumb. Grumps likes to fancy himself as some sort of insider, gamer, reporter person, right? Subscribe to me for if you like the work that I do and the news that I break and all that stuff, okay? All of his news is wrong, though, like verifiably wrong, including the most recent incident in which he very boldly, very publicly posted an NDA that was supposedly the NDA that Mr. Matty Plays signed that got leaked out into the internet. And his reporting of it is to do zero fact checking. And I mean, not even the barest of minimal fact checking. Just by looking at it, you could tell it was fake. Now, what gave away for me, I mean, there's the fact that he was reporting on it, but really the fact that you could still see the I-beam on top where it says BioWare/EA, and they also spelled San Francisco wrong. Probably not what would happen in a real NDA sent from an official company. That and the fact that the terms they told me they couldn't use, you couldn't use DEI from it. Like no NDA from a reputable company would include those terms, which is also especially fun because he, in that, posted saying that, oh, well, you have to say return to form. Matty did not say return to form in his review. In fact, he put out a very scathing review that's still up. Now, Matty has his own problems with like the shit being leaked, but that's not here nor there. Grumps fancies himself as a reporter. This is the same person who will consistently talk about how the dirty journalists at Kotaku or at IGN or wherever he's attacking during that time are untrustworthy and they are agenda driven. They are this, they are that. If any of them have put that out as an article, they would be fired immediately. And so would the editorial board that let that get past them, because no vetting was done with that. And he put his name on that. That's what you'd be left with. You'd be left with people who could just do what Grumps did, who could just lie. I mean, to be fair, they're already doing this. Those grifters already exist. They're already doing that, but it would have nothing to counter it. There would be no sources. There'd be no reporting. There'd be no interviews, no nothing, because they're not interested in that. They're interested in getting clicks and views. I remember a while ago I spoke about this, and I said that these people have a vested interest in making sure you are not only just upset, but uninformed. And I got a lot of backlash from the typical crowd because they're saying, oh, well, you don't think that there are reporters that do that? I need you guys to think on a grander scale than that, okay? We're being very myopic. We got to expand a little bit. You could use that about logic about anything. You could say, oh, there's some bad doctors. So then the outcome is we should have no doctors? Fuck it, just DIY surgeries? Or like DIY surgeries? Like, no. If you do that, then you are being so reductive to say that since one person's bad, all of them are bad. I have never gotten on here and just defended a journalist who was bad because, I'm just such a shill. But the attacks you guys were making against him had nothing to do with their journalistic integrity or skills. It's you're just assuming that these people are part of a conspiracy. Because wherever your lack of knowledge starts, conspiracy fills that gap. Between what you know and what you don't know, conspiracy is right there. And it's so easy to fit into those little grooves. And that's what they exploit. So like, would you want that as the alternative? Do you want a Grumps reporter who just says shit, who has an obvious bias, and who's very obviously grifting you? This is the same person who started off saying BioWare was going to fail with Dragon Age. And then when he was most likely tracking the numbers, pivoted to saying, well, it'll do well, but not well enough. Then seeing how it was one of the top selling games on Steam prior to its release at number 2, the game comes out on the 31st, which I guess is today since I'm uploading the 31st. Now you're being gaslit into thinking it's a good game. And that's the line they're all going for. It's gaslighting. It's a psyop. It's this, it's that. Because these people aren't reporters, and they know they're not. And they don't have to be. They're not held to any sort of standard. Any game reporter, any reporter, but any game reporter worth their salt would tell you they could not post the shit that they post. I read articles from Jason Schreier. I read stuff from Steven Totilo. He's reporting that because he did the work. Ubisoft just announced that during an earnings call that they're still focusing on live service stuff, even though they don't talk about like XDefiant and all that stuff, right? Also talking about how they are launching a new game that has like NFT crypto shit, which I'm like, one of the worst mismanaged companies I've ever seen. But isn't that interesting how that news came out now, but when Indiamon said he had an insider source, they didn't hint anything towards that? Nothing of the sort. Nothing to even hint like, hey, there's some changes happening or management, nothing. Because the source doesn't exist. They can just make up sources. And if you saw my video on him, you'll see that it's bullshit. It's just a lie. He can bullshit you because he has no integrity to uphold, because he's not a journalist. They don't have to do that stuff. So when you guys are talking about getting rid of the news sites and all that stuff too, you're allowing people like that to take up that space and to make things objectively worse. But if you think I'm just, sounding the alarm bells, let's go to a website together. This one's called Tech for Gamers. Now, I had originally heard of this site because of the other article we're going through, but just to give you a little site, Dragon Age The Veilguard drops to as low as 500p on PS5 to maintain 60 FPS. A new low for performance mode? I'm going to read it out to you guys because you'll see why. It might sound a little hinky. Dragon Age The Veilguard has been heavily criticized lately for various reasons. However, despite that, the review scores turned out to be quite positive, where some reviewers have pointed out BioWare didn't give out a review copy to those who were being a little more critical of the game. However, this game doesn't have the much hated DRM technology and microtransactions, which is pretty rare, especially in 2024. Why would an RPG have microtransactions? Okay. Not to mention, it has been stated as the best PC port in years. Who stated that? The people they're referencing right here. And if you think I'm just being weird, if we click on this link right here, Dragon Age, the Veilguard, best AAA PC port in years, say experts. And what are these experts? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same video they're referencing. Literally the same exact video. But if you notice the wording here, it's straight up very AI. Like, an in-depth analysis by Digital Foundry has revealed how the game runs on PC and the PlayStation 5. Of course, the best version can be found on PC, as the optimization this time has been pretty good. However, the PlayStation 5 version doesn't look that bad either. In some instances, sure, the game might look pixelated, but that is mainly in the performance mode. While there have been similar instances before, this might be the lowest native resolution for the console to maintain 60 FPS. I'm going to read that again. While there have been similar instances before, this might be the lowest native resolution for the console to maintain 60 FPS. Wouldn't you just say for the PS5? Like, this doesn't sound like a human. I'm sorry. It does not sound like a human person doing this. Like, it not even close. What do you think of the PS5 performance mode native resolution dropping down to 500p to maintain 60 FPS? Like, that doesn't sound like a human wrote this. But the one that caught my eye was this article. BioWare allegedly sending DMCAs to people criticizing Dragon Age the Veilguard. Story highlight, yada, yada, yada. Just look at the source. The source is a singular tweet from Pirate Nation, a known scammer, a known grifter, who just lies. It has now been reported that BioWare is sending DMCAs to people who post pictures and videos criticizing Dragon Age the Veilguard. We know this not to be true because, like I recently stated in my video, SkillUp has a negative review of this up that has over 1 million views. Maddie Plays has a negative video up. They are both negative videos. They're still up. So they would not be sending DMCAs who post pictures and videos criticizing Dragon Age Veilguard. Hey, real quick, let's just go Dragon Age Veilguard. Just type it in. Just type in Dragon Age Veilguard. What the hell's going on? Mission to Gay Crap. Veilguard destroys Mr. Maddie. Dragon Age Veilguard reviews are bullshit. What the fuck is this shit? Review liars. Pronoun lecture. Fired. BioWare under fire. You get the picture, right? These videos are all still up. Unfortunately, they're all still up though, so that's automatically disproven. But the thing is, this is supposedly a news website for games, and they don't even do the barest. Just recently, one of the leading Twitter accounts. What the fuck does that mean? What does a leading Twitter account mean? This is AI. Like, it has to be AI driven. Twitter accounts that post about gaming related stuff stated that BioWare currently sending DMCAs to people posting videos and people criticizing Dragon Age Veilguard, which is exactly what they just said. Which is exactly what you just said. You just said that. This is such AI shit. He deleted all his previous posts about the title and warned other creators not to post and criticize it. Yeah, it's right in the tweet. You don't have to do that. Fans have also criticized this idea in the comments, stating that BioWare is just afraid to letting fans know about their super woke title before it launch and doing everything in their hand to control the reviews, which again, we've just disproven. Like, we believe that BioWare doesn't have to do anything like that, as the developers have released some of the best games in the past and should be confident in what they have developed in the last few years. This is not a human. This is not a human. I'm sorry, a human did not write this. Dragon Age the Veilguard allegedly super woke reveals playtest. Is this dubbed as Dragon Age the Veilguard? Is this that one, like, I think she's like a Latino woman or Brazilian, right? I think she's Brazilian. Is that new her girl? Yes. So do you see how I already knew who they were basing this off of? And again, no reputable news site would do this. at all. One of the leading Twitter accounts, you click on their account and it's probably just like bullshit. Classic comedy tactics. Like, I blocked them, but let's just look at their account. Just look at their account. Free software. Promoting pirating, just so you know. Just promoting piracy. And then talking about Japanese government legislation. And then delaying Ubisoft. Like, this is the guy you're going to use as a source of credible information. This is the guy. Fit Girl, it's now being blocked by government in Spain. Just literally okay. All right. Like, that's the standard this website has, which is to say, none. If you go to, look, it says exclusive news. None of this is exclusive. You can find this literally anywhere else. One of these ones actually linked directly to IGN. Like, okay, let's just look at a random one. Concord Dev. This is exclusive, meaning historic failure for gaming industry. Such a real person wrote that. But this means that this is exclusive, meaning I can't find this information anywhere else. Nowhere else could I find this information. Just they're the ones who has information. No one else is talking about this. No one else has exclusive coverage. That's what exclusive means, right? It's coming from here. So if I go to, like, I don't know, IGN, or if I just type in Concord, and I go to news. Sony closes Concord Studio and permanently shuts down the game. PlayStation urgently needs to rethink its live service strategy after Concord. Sony shuts down Concord. Developer Firework permanently cancels games. With Polygon already, Games Radar, The Verge, Forbes, Kotaku, Bloomberg. But it's exclusive. It said exclusive content, you guys. It said it right here. It said latest exclusive news. I should be able to get this anywhere else. And do any of these reference these guys? Well, this was posted a day ago. This was posted a day ago too. So let's click on both of them. Right. So they're going to say, according to the exclusive site of Tech for Gamers. Oh, no. Well, maybe because this is The Verge. Maybe The Verge just isn't going to credit them. Why don't we try someone else? Why don't we try Bloomberg, unless they have a paywall. Which I feel like it's Bloomberg, so it will have a paywall. Yep. All right, let's do Aftermath. I mentioned Aftermath. They don't have a paywall. That's not the rules. Not seeing anything about Tech for Gamer. Let's do one more. 3 is the magic number. Surely Tech for Gamers would be mentioned here. Surely it'd be mentioned here. They're the ones who have the exclusive. No. Oh man. But you guys said you had exclusives. You have all the information I need. You're the only people covering this. You're the only ones covering this. Resident Evil creator. Oh, maybe they got an interview with Resident Evil creator. Praising the remake. Okay. Built upon the original success in every way. Okay. What did you? This information. Where's the interview? Speaking with IGN. So also not exclusive. Weird. But you get the point, right? Like, it's very easy to be upset at games journalists, because ever since the first Gamergate happened, it's just been something people could just easily do. And it's, at some point, it's understandable. I get it. You feel like you're being lied to. You don't be lied to. But like I've said multiple times, and again, this is not a defense of like anyone particular, but if you look at it in the whole, You are being lied to more by YouTubers and random bloggers than you are by people who don't get paid by your views. Because I need that to be really understood. Payment models are not the same. Some people have contracts. I think if you guys are aware, if you're terminal like me, you might have noticed that Game Rant put out a article, they put some of the shit got released basically, and they were showing how they pay like $30 for a review, which is dog shit. They pay $30 for a review. Some people get paid like that. Some people have a contract with the company, you know? Granted, they have to work for SEO, but like they're not trying to get money off of your views. Like they get paid and then the site gets the money, but they get paid already. Because that's like slavery if you don't get paid, right? But when it comes to stuff like this, what I do, I don't get paid by a company. I get paid ad revenue on my videos, which I just started monetizing. I get paid ad revenue on videos, and that's it. And I get a percentage of that. So like I would be more incentivized to tell some outlandish bullshit to you to get 1 billion views to get money than some reporter working for a Kotaku, a Polygon, or GameSpot, or anything like that. That isn't to say there aren't bad reporters. Like I said, there's bad journalists everywhere. There's bad editorial boards. But at the very least, they have boards they have to pass. There's a certain standard they have to uphold. And not just an internal standard, like an actual standard they have to uphold. They cannot put out false information knowingly. They have to get their sources because they can get their asses sued to oblivion. There's a consequence for them that doesn't really exist for independent types like bloggers and YouTubers. Independent sites kind of live in that little grayish area because they have to get enough capital to get like the big interviews and yada, yada, yada. But when you guys are talking about getting rid of the media and legacy media and stuff too, I think it's romanticizing it. The kind of people who romanticize revolutions, like, yes, we should revolt. And it's like, you're not thinking of it like a practical level or like what comes after that. And like, this is stuff happening now. This isn't after anything. These are things happening right now. You have people like Grums who do no reporting work, get community noted, then backtrack and say, oh, well, you know what? This was from 4chan, so maybe it wasn't true, but like it sure does feel like it's true. And then his fans going, well, you know, you're doing good work. And it's like, he's not doing good work. He's not even fucking working. What happened to the 0 days? But you have places like Tech for Gamers, which is obviously an AI site. That's AI dialogue. That is an AI. It's either them feeding into ChatGPT or some other language learning model and just spewing shit out like that. Talking about having exclusive coverage or exclusive news about information we already have. Using a tweet from an unsubstantiated person as the basis of an entire article. What other website have I covered that likes to use tweets from specific YouTubers or Twitter accounts as the basis for an entire news article? Is that a reputable source? Do we want more stuff like that? Because also, mind you too, those kinds of sites don't even talk about new games. They don't say this is coming up. They always talk about why this game's doing bad. This game's awful. This game's terrible. That tech site that I just showed you, it had some reviews and stuff, but you also saw them using people who were just straight up lying just so they can have a comment, just so they can have you click on something. That's it. That's what I mean when I say like these people are driven by your misinformation. They need you to be misinformed. Now, again, big corporations, of course, they also want your clicks too, but they have to have a standard. Otherwise, you will stop going there. And then the companies that give them money for shit will stop giving them money because no one's going to go there. Like, that's what you guys are failing to grasp. It is a ecosystem. And when you disrupt that ecosystem, you stop getting money. But people who are like bloggers, who are YouTubers, who are just in it by themselves, they have no such obligation. I don't think the current games media is perfect. God, no. But I'd much rather have what we have now and work on that than burn it and have people like Grums and the Tech for Gamers people taking over. Because what information are you getting? Nothing. You get nothing of value from them. literally couldn't. I mean, I showed you what it looked like. How do you not spot this as a fake NDA? How do you not spot this? How do you not spot that? They spelled San Francisco wrong. They have the I-beam is still there, and you reported it, and only because you got backlash with it. On second thought, it might have been from 4chan. You couldn't have done the research. You don't work on your game. You don't do anything but be on Twitter. You obviously got that from 4chan. I doubt people were sending you that. But and I already know the comments in the video is gonna be like, oh my god, you're a Kotaku shill, you're a Polygon shill, you're a this shill, which is fine. I wish I was. I get paid for that. I don't get paid. But I just want you guys to know, like, that is why they do that. The people who are always promoting, like, get rid of the legacy media, get rid of all that stuff too, it's because they have already bought into the bullshit that's being sold to them by the types like the Grumses, the Smash JTs, the tech for gamers, all that shit. They already bought into that. They think that's somehow superior, but they don't even realize they aren't even getting news. They are just getting confirmation bias thrown back at them. It's an echo chamber. I implore you, go to that site, go to like the Park Place or whatever, and see what actual gaming news they tell you that hasn't already been discussed. Are they breaking new game releases? Are they getting new interviews? Are they talking about games from different countries that you might not have heard of? I'm going to tell you straight up, no. No, they're not. But other places like Aftermath, like Niche Gamer, like even like a Tech Raptor, RPG site, they at least have niches there where they're like, hey, this is a cool game coming from Japan, or here's a game you might have overlooked. At least they do stuff like that. These guys don't. Not worth your time. I suffer, remember, though you guys don't have to. All right, see you next time.